They say every house has a story, but some stories should never be reopened. I booked an Airbnb for a quiet weekend getaway and ended up spending the night with something that wasn't alive, but wasn't exactly gone either. What happened inside that house still haunts me. Before we step through the door together, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell, because this isn't just a ghost story, it's a warning. It was an old farmhouse in upstate New York, built in the 1800s. The pictures looked perfect. Warm lighting, antique decor, a clawfoot tub, like something from a Hallmark movie. I arrived just before sunset. The sky was pale orange, and the woods behind the house looked like they hadn't been touched in years. The key was under a ceramic owl on the porch. Classic. As soon as I stepped in, I noticed how quiet it was. Not peaceful, empty, like the house had been waiting. On the wall in the hallway was a black and white family portrait, everyone looking straight at the camera, except one face, scratched out. That night, I sat down with a book in the living room. There was a rocking chair across from me, beautiful, vintage, and swaying. At first, I thought it was the wind, but there were no windows open, no air. It just rocked, slowly, like someone had just stood up. I went to stop it, and right as I touched the armrest, the floorboard behind me creaked, like a step. I turned around. No one. Suddenly, a crash from upstairs, like a mirror falling. I bolted up the steps. Nothing was broken, but the old mirror on the wall, fogged up, with a handprint. I tried to sleep, but the bedroom was ice cold. I bundled under layers, but the cold wasn't physical. It felt like I was being watched. Then, whispering, low, repeating, from behind the walls. She never left. He watches from the attic. I sat up in bed. My reflection in the mirror across the room wasn't moving the way I was. I stared at it, frozen. Then the door creaked open, slowly, and the hallway light flickered on by itself. Drawn by something I couldn't explain, I stepped out into the hall. At the end of it was a hatch to the attic, open, waiting. Inside was a small wooden rocking horse, and dozens of porcelain dolls lined up against the wall. One empty space in the middle. Below it, scratched into the wood, "She plays when it's quiet." Behind me, footsteps, light, bare, like a child's. I didn't turn around. I ran. I grabbed my bag, keys, everything. As I reached the door, the family photo in the hallway caught my eye again. But this time, all the faces were scratched out. My heart stopped. Then I felt something brush past me, cold and whispering, "Stay with me." I flew out the door, jumped in the car. As I drove away, I glanced in the rearview mirror. The upstairs window, a silhouette was standing there, watching. The next morning, I messaged the host. They said I was the fourth guest this year to leave early. I did some digging. Turns out, a girl named Margaret disappeared in that house in 1956. Only thing ever found was her red shoe in the attic. The listing is still active, and the reviews still glowing, because most guests don't stay long enough to meet her. Thanks for watching. If you've ever stayed in a place that didn't feel quite right, tell us your story in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because next time, we're visiting a hotel where the guests check in, but don't always check out.